So we flew into Park City, Utah for a gaming vacation, and when we had gotten to our resort, our rooms weren't ready yet. So we went downtown Park City, and on their main street, they were having a Sunday farmers market.
And as usual, anytime we go out hunting around, we find fun little art sculptures to take our pictures with. So we got a little hungry and looked for a good booth to get something to eat, and we found the best named booth there, Praise Jesus, which had a lot of great different unique style grilled cheeses that we enjoyed.
So when we got back from the market, our room was ready and we checked in, and we had a beautiful view from our balcony of the gondola rides and the chair lifts.
And it's a 3-bedroom condo with all of them being master suites. There's a big common area with a kitchen and a loft.
And the best part is the staff of the gaming vacation fully stocks our fridge with cereal, lunch meat, cheese, bread, chips, cereal. Did I mention that already? Because that was probably my favorite. Yogurts and fruit.
Each master suite had its own perk, and ours was a very own jacuzzi tub, bubbles and all. I loved it.
So the first night we were there, we had dinner with our new friends who we met 2 years ago at Breckenridge, and also Dan's favorite game designer, Mike Fitzgerald, and his wife, Helene, who live in Colorado.
And he's the designer of my favorite game of all time, Baseball Highlights 2045. I even got a chance to teach some folks this game while we were there. And on our balcony, tucked away from all the different convention goers, I got a chance to get a sneak peek at the sequel of that game, Football Highlights, that comes out next year.
And the next day we went for a ride to downtown Park City, Utah, and we came across this awesome purple house, and Dan just happened to be wearing a purple t-shirt that day. So of course it was a picture opportunity, but unfortunately later that week they painted it completely purple and it just wasn't as cool.
So then we found our way to the Utah Olympic Park, which is where the Winter Olympics of 2002 was held, and it's still being used as a training site today. So both the USA and Australia was there training. Their athletes were going down the ski jumps there and doing flips and tricks into the pool. And as you see the white different foam there, they were bubbles coming up that helped soften their landings. While we were waiting for our tour to start, in the lobby, they had a bobsled from the 2002 Olympics. This is an authentic one, and these things were made by BMW and cost $200,000. Now the museum had a lot of cool things to look at, but they also had these fun things you can stick your head through, make it look like you're doing some crazy ski jumps. And they had plenty of the official uniforms to look at through all the years, with 2014 all the way back to the 70s. And there's Denise hoisting up the torch to light the cauldron. They showed us a movie of Jimmy Shea, who won the skeleton competition that year, and he had 3 generations of skeleton riders that were there, but his grandfather had died a few days previous, being hit by a drunk driver. So this was the cool bald eagle skeleton helmet that he had in the movie and in the actual Olympics gold medal that he won, and Denise got to be right next to it. Then the tour brought us all the way to the top of the luge and bobsled, where we got to see all the way down the mountain. It was quite spectacular to look down on it. We were then brought to the top of this ski jump, and the pictures don't do this justice, but oh my gosh, we were so high up, and that ski jump is so steep that your knees just tremble looking down there. My gosh, was it scary. And they also showed us what it would have looked like exactly looking down this ski jump in the 2002 Salt Lake Games. Now look at the end of this ski jump where the grass ends. Stare at that right now because you're about to see what it looked like in that year. And there it is, where the grass is basically where that snow is, and all around it are these huge bleachers with thousands of people. And coming back from that ski jump, there was a really cool photo opportunity with the Olympic rings.
And of course, our daily ice cream. But what really drew me to this one was the window. I loved it. I thought it was so cute. And of course, I Love Moo was just adorable. So had to get it every day.
So the next day we spent the whole day at the Olympic Park doing all the crazy extreme things, but I brought all my gamer buddies with me because Denise got a bracelet, but she chickened out at the last minute.
Bawk, 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 chicken.
First up was extreme zip lining, and as you can see, you're gonna go down this huge ravine all the way down to the bottom of the ski jump.
So we are here at the Utah Olympic Park, and there's Mark and Betsy on the zip line.
And Denise found her way to shade and took all sorts of good pictures and videos for us. Then we headed to the extreme tubing, where you go 55 miles an hour down this ski jump.
So if this isn't crazy enough, they water down the 90-foot track before they send you down. So it's like a big 90-foot drop slip and slide. Here comes down the 90-foot slip and slide.
We all survived the tubing, so we all celebrated and then got ready to go up to the craziest thing of all, the bobsled. Now these were driven by either past Olympians or Olympians in training, so they know what they're doing, and this was me and my friend Mark getting ready to push our friends down the bobsled. And then of course it was our turn, and man was it scary. But we went almost 70 miles an hour and beat our friends by 1 second. It took us exactly a minute. So of course we had to celebrate on the podium.
So they had dinners each night for the special guest. And so Dan, the Game Boy geek, was on this particular evening. So we got to wear our cool shirts and hang out with the fans and just do Q&A and get to know one another. It was fun. And it was really fun finding locals on the park bench and just hanging out and getting to know them. So one day we were able to take a scenic drive that a lady at the visitor center recommended to us, and Dan was smart and packed us peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Yum!
And the next day I got to go on a long mountain bike ride with my buddy Mark. We went through all the different spidering trails. There's hundreds of miles of trails around there. It was fun.
So one of my favorite things that I enjoy seeing since being a flight attendant is visiting the state capitals. And so the day before we left, we were able to take a bus tour that gives you the history of the city that you're in. And the first stop was the Utah State Capitol. The inside of the Capitol is actually very simple but very nice. They are known to be the Beehive State for productivity and hard work. And there is the Highway Patrol on the inside of the Capitol. And I just thought it was really cool that their symbol is a beehive.
And then on the second floor, there was a huge House of Representatives room where once we looked in, it was really cool. It was very tall. There was actually a balcony where people could sit and watch what was going on. But there was tons of seats for the lawmakers to actually make the laws of the state. And the inside of that second floor went all the way up to the top. It was huge. There was big pillars. It echoed. It was just a really cool building. And on the bottom floor, they had a huge seal of the state of Utah. The next stop on the bus tour was called This Is the Place Heritage Park, and this was the place that Brigham Young came through the hills on caravan and said, this is the place we're going to settle. And today they actually have many buildings that were from that period that have been moved to this site, and they teach kids and people how people used to live back in those days, and it's in a historic park.
So on the tour, we got to go to the LDS headquarters, which was 26 floors high, and we got to go to the top of it and look out and see an aerial view of Salt Lake City. So up there, we got a great view of the Capitol and as well as the temple. It was a Friday afternoon, and there were honestly approximately a dozen weddings all going on at the same time. We lost count counting brides, and the families were in like flocks of 50s just taking wedding photos.
So when we got back from the tour, part of the reason why I was there is I was capturing testimonials of some of the different guests that were there to help market for the next year. So this was us all set up getting ready for that. Now this was a gaming vacation, so after the dinners happened, everyone kind of got together and gamed. There were all sorts of different things going on, from party games to strategy games, you name it, everything was being played in the evenings. A local company, one of my sponsors, stopped in with their only copy of their big release coming out later this year, so I got a chance to hang out with them and play it. So there was a library of games that you could just take any of these and play them, or the staff there would teach you how to play it if you didn't know. There was only approximately about maybe 75 guests there, and this is the whole entire gaming hall. But with the beautiful weather, we couldn't help but retreat to our patio to play some games up there too with the great views. Now Denise isn't typically a big gamer, but she found some friends there, made all sorts of new friends, and they all talked her into playing lighter games, and she had a blast. Of course, she was timid at first, didn't know whether she wanted to play or not, but after a few games, she loved it.
So in this picture, two of the ladies work for a publisher. One is married to a designer, and one of them is just an avid gamer. And then there's me, the amateur. And so I was very intimidated by them, but they weren't gonna let me just sit back and say no. They insisted I played, and I think I was like the highlight of the game because I literally ended up having so much fun that when I or we, depending on the game, won, I was hooting and hollering and the center of the attention in the room. And so then it just escalated into everybody else laughing with me, or maybe even at me, but it was a lot of fun, and I really did enjoy playing a lot of games more than I anticipated. I actually did enjoy meeting new people and making new friends, and again, a lot of them are owners, publishers, designers, creators, and they just kept insisting that I was part of the game, and we just played and had lots of laughs, and they were just a great group of people.
So Denise went to self-proclaimed non-gamer to gamer hipster by being able to play a game that's not even out until next year from one of the most popular party game companies, Check's Game Edition. So we couldn't talk about it, we don't even know the name of this, but it was the hit of the night. Denise had a blast, she had the whole place buzzing, and she got to play a game before I did. Wow. Now I'm called the Game Boy Geek because when I was a kid I would go around with boxes over my head asking anybody that wanted to play a game to sit down with me, and of course many 30 plus years later I'm still doing the same thing. This was us coming back, packing some of the games we brought that week.
So 2 years ago we went to Breckenridge, Colorado. This year we went to Park City, Utah, and next year we are going to Lake Tahoe. So new friends become old friends, and we'll continue to meet up, play games, have fun, and I'll become, who knows, more of an avid professional gamer.
If anybody wants to come with us next year to Tahoe, let us know.